noting the various things they have on display. Now that I have a decent job, I can afford to buy a few trinkets here and there if I want to. Some of them even catch my interest, and I humor the idea that I might actually buy something even though I ultimately don't. I guess deep down, I'm still imagining that all of this will end poorly. I figure it'll be nice to have some money saved up if nothing else works out. I'm probably more pessimistic than I should be. I let out a small sigh and step away from the shops. I suddenly don't feel like looking around. I still have a bit of time to waste, though. I chew my bottom lip and try to come up with some ideas when a familiar voice interrupts my thoughts. Good afternoon, Marcel. I turn to see Doctor Borges with his usual overly kind smile pasted on his face. I smile automatically in response. Hello, Dr. Borges. You can just call me Borges, you know, especially when I'm not working. You're not working right now? Well, not really. I suppose that saying I'm not doing anything work-related would be a lie, though. I was going to see if I could purchase a few supplies. Anyway, how about you? Just out for a stroll? Yeah, Vincent gave me some time off, so I figured I'd spend it in town. That sounds fun. Yeah. I trail off a bit awkwardly. I'm not really having fun. Of course, I don't want to bother Borges with my problems. I figured a lie would be best, but it didn't come off as genuine as I might have hoped. I see. Borges keeps his innocent-looking smile, but I get the sense I haven't fooled him, especially when I factor in his next words. If you aren't doing anything else, you're welcome to join me. Of course, it might be a bit on the boring side. I'm just doing some regular shopping, after all. I don't mind. Actually, I would like to join if you're really okay with it. I wouldn't have suggested if I wasn't. Anyway, shall we? I nod and Borges gestures towards the path he intends to take for my benefit. Together we start walking side by side. I decide to start up a conversation, figuring that Borges wouldn't mind. What kinds of things are you looking for? Herbs, mostly. There's a remedy I recently acquired the recipe for that I'd like to try making. A remedy? Is it for Lord Sandor? Dr. Borges frowns and lets his gaze drift to his feet. I've clearly said something wrong. No, it's for one of my other patients. I get the impression that he feels a bit guilty. That's a bit silly, though. Lord Sandor isn't the only person he's in charge of helping. I decided to say it, hoping it might make Borges feel a little better. Anyway. Well, that's understandable. I mean, you have other patients. You can't just focus on Lord Sandor. Yes, but... Borges lets out a small sigh. I've been attempting to help him for a long time now, and I feel like I don't feel like I've made any progress at all. And that makes me feel like I haven't been trying hard enough. You shouldn't beat yourself up over it. The other doctors Lord Sandor hired couldn't figure out what was wrong with him either. It's not that you aren't trying hard enough, it's that whatever this is difficult to deal with. On top of that, Lord Sandor isn't exactly helping you figure it out. You told me he wasn't even telling you about his symptoms anymore. How are you supposed to help someone like that? Borges doesn't seem comforted by my words at all. That doesn't mean it's alright to approach it half-heartedly. I can do better, and I need to do better. Anything less isn't good enough. Borges said it with such determination that I start to feel a little guilty. He doesn't say anything about it, but I did refuse to help Lord Sandor. Reporting Lord Sandor's symptoms wouldn't have been a big deal either. All I'd have to do is mention whatever I happened to find out. That's it. And yet I still wasn't willing to do it. I didn't have to do it for Lord Sandor either. I could have done it for Borges. I could have done it for a kind man who was just trying to help a dying old man. No matter how I look at it, my actions were pretty petty. We both walk in silence. I hardly notice when we reach our destination, a market stall with a vendor selling all sorts of dried-out plants. The overall aroma is quite pleasant, but there is at least one plant in the mix that ruins it a bit. Borges exchanges pleasantries with the old woman running the stall, asks a few questions, and picks out the plants he needs before handing over his money. I feel like there wasn't much point in me tagging along after all. I've just made things awkward. After making his purchase, Borges and I slowly meander back to the middle of the road. I should probably get back to my clinic. I have a few things I should take care of. I assume you have to start heading back towards Lord Sandor's mansion? Yeah. I'm not sure if Borges genuinely means what he says, or if he's just trying to get rid of me at this point. Either way, he nods understandingly. Well, take care then. I hope the rest of your day is pleasant. I nod. Borges looks as if he wants to say something else, but instead flashes me a small smile before turning to go. I watch him for a moment before deciding something. Borges, wait. I quicken my steps until I catch up to where he is. He cocks his head curiously. What did you need? Look, I know I acted kind of weird when you asked me to keep you updated on Lord Sandor's condition. I said that it wasn't my job, and it's not, but... Well, it's not like telling you whatever I happen to oversee would be a major hardship. Borges' expression brightens visibly. So you'll help? I sigh. Yes, I'll help. but I'm not going out of my way to help. I want to make that much clear. That's fine. Any bit of information will help. Right. Borges seems a little too happy considering how little I'm actually offering to do. It makes me even more guilty over the whole issue. I sigh, end up asking what I'd sworn to myself I wouldn't. What exactly is going on with him anyway? I can already feel myself getting more caught up in the matter than I want it to be. Borges' face falls. I half hope he won't bother answering. I already regret asking. I wish I had a clear answer to that question. Borges lets out a sigh and rubs his forehead. It's something new. I haven't seen it before, and I have yet to find a doctor who has. At first I thought it might be a mix of things, but that doesn't seem to be the case. It'd be easier to treat if it was. He lets out another frustrated sigh. You can treat the symptoms and it'll look like he's been cured for a while, but then they come back a while later stronger than ever. But you can't not treat them because Lord Sandor's condition will still get worse anyway. He runs a hand through his hair in a frustrated manner as he lets out a tired sigh. To be perfectly honest, I'm at a loss. I've been at a loss for a long time now. So there's really nothing you can do. Honestly, that might be the case. I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't have admitted that. No, it's fine, I get it. Do you? He asks as if he's not sure of the answer himself. That leaves me wondering if I'm really interpreted him correctly after all. I let the silence hang in the air for a moment before deciding Borges' question. Requires some kind of answer. What should I say? You're just being realistic. You're just being realistic. That's... Borges' frown deepens as he let a defeated sigh. Yes, I suppose so. It's easy to see Lord Sandor's situation as hopeless. He's had so many doctors before me, men and women who are infinitely more talented than me. None of them could do anything to help him either. So what am I supposed to do about it? I'm just the local doctor. The only reason I'm the one Lord Sandor is paying now is because I happen to be the closest one around. I think about that all the time. Borges closes his eyes for a moment and refocuses. But I can't afford to dwell on that. If I really just accept that there is nothing I can do, then I've already failed Lord Sandor. I have to keep trying. It's my turn to frown. Borges definitely has some noble ideas, but ideas are just that, ideas. They don't always work in reality, no matter how much you hope they will. I avoid speaking my thoughts aloud, but I suspect my silence speaks for me. Borges notices the look on my face and gives me an awkward smile. You're kind of a pessimist, aren't you, Marcel? No, I mean, Here's the thing. I think that me personally, I think I'm a very optimistic person. But at the same time, I am aware of the realistic aspect of things. I'm optimistic, but I also am aware of the realistic things. I wouldn't call myself pessimistic. I think that having hope is important, yes. But you know, there needs to be a balance. There needs to be a balance between optimism and at least being aware of the realistic situations that could happen, but hoping for the best. Hoping for the best, but realizing what could happen too, you know? And not ignoring it, because I don't think that will be a good thing either. That was nothing to do with what I was trying to say. It's alright, there's nothing inherently wrong with it, it's just an observation. Well, it's the most practical way to be. If you get your hopes up too much over every little thing, you're only going to end up disappointed in the end. So yeah, I am a pessimist, and I'm not ashamed of it either. For Marcel, I guess it makes sense, because he's pretty much gotten the short end of the stick many times in his life, so I guess it makes sense for Marcel. But we were talking about you, not me. Borges lets out a small chuckle. Sorry, I didn't mean to change the subject. He's more amused than apologetic. In fact, he's probably not sorry at all. Anyway, to tie in my former comment, I try to be the opposite. It's not easy to be optimistic all the time, but I think I prefer it. It helps to imagine that everything can turn out alright as long as you don't give up. I'd like to thank you for reminding me of that. Huh? But I didn't... Oh, I have no doubt that wasn't your intention. Still, talking with you has renewed my resolve. Well, good, I'm glad. And regardless of what you said, you did so because you were worried about me, right? Well... I blushed slightly in embarrassment. I'm not exactly used to people calling me out like that. I guess. Thank you. I stopped myself, getting the sense that Borges would continue thanking me no matter what I said. I decided to just accept it, thinking that will be the easier way to move things along. You're welcome. I don't really feel like I did anything, though. Well, sometimes small is all it takes to help someone. I stared at Borges for a while. It is a silly concept, but I don't dislike it. If I helped him, even a little, I guess I'm glad. Okay. Activity result. Yes. My reputation is starting to grow. Yes. Oh, good. Hopefully this will keep growing so that... I have some time off and I was thinking of spending it reading, but Lord Sandor has so many books that it's hard to settle on just one. After much deliberation, I have narrowed my search down to the history section, but I still haven't decided on one specific book. I take my time looking over the various titles when I notice a misplaced book. Instead of being a historical novel like the rest of its companions, this one is a medical book about ailments and how to treat them. That's interesting. I mean, I don't exactly have a desire to become a doctor, but maybe this book has information that could help Lord Sandor. I pull it out automatically and open it up to a random page. That isn't what I was looking for, but I get the feeling that this is a book I'm meant to read. I shut it quickly and head over to the shelf where it actually belongs. I can't believe I was almost taken in by such a stupid thought. It's just a book that was misshelled by someone. There is nothing fated about it. I see the empty spot where it's supposed to go and start putting it back, but as it slides into place, I hesitate. I'm making this into a big deal when it's really not. I was looking for something to read and it might as well be this book, right? I feel a little weird about it, but I go ahead and pull the book out of its slot. Right. Okay, I guess I'm doing this. I take it with me as I head outside. Instead of my usual outdoor spot in the garden, I've chosen to sit on a bench near the mansion's front entrance. I don't really feel like explaining to Kamal why I'm reading a medical book. Then again, he probably wouldn't bother asking. I'm the only one who's being ridiculous about this. I sigh and push that thought aside. I decided to use this time to read something, so I'm going to do it. Enough stalling. I open the book and scan the table of contents before deciding to start at the beginning. I can probably pick and choose to exclude information that isn't relevant to Lord Sandor's condition, but I don't want to risk missing anything. The book is actually kind of difficult. It's not so much the subject as the way that it's written. It feels needlessly complicated, as if the author prioritized showing off how much they know over clarity. Oh, I hate that. Of course, it could just be me not being used to all the medical terms. Either way, it's hard for me to follow, and some of the concepts go completely over my head. I work my way through several sections anyway, hoping I'll figure out what I need along the way. I could probably ask Borges. I don't think he'd mind answering my questions. Then again, I really shouldn't be wasting his time. I chew my bottom lip absentmindedly as I try to think of a solution. There are other books in the library. If I'm not willing to ask Borges, I can try looking through them. I might be able to find out what I need there. I'll write down things I want to look into and see what I can find out. Of course, I didn't bring anything to write with. I wasn't exactly planning on doing research instead of reading for fun when I started searching the library today. I stare at the page for a minute, wondering if I should bother going to find something to write with. I'm not sure it's worth the effort. Then again, if I'm doing this, I might as well give it my all, right? Even if I can't come up with anything to help Lord Sandor, I might learn something. And that should be good enough, right? I try to talk myself into it, but for every good reason to do it, I come up with more reasons not to. That is some interesting reading material you've got there. Startled, I slam the book shut and look up from my seated position to see Borges. But Borges? Sorry, I didn't notice you standing there. It's quite all right. Though I must say I didn't realize you had an interest in the medical field. I know, it's not that. Though, maybe I should have just said it was. I'm not nearly as comfortable with the real reason. Ah, I see. I should have realized sooner. Borges smiles to himself, and I get the feeling I'm not going to like what he has to say next. You're actually worried about him, aren't you? That's not it either. It's just a book. It doesn't mean anything. I denied it a little too adamantly. I guess Borges sees right through me, but he's nice enough to not say anything. I sigh and grudgingly admit a piece of it. It's just, if I have a choice, I'd rather him not be dead, I guess. But it's stupid. It's not like I'm going to come up with anything you and the other doctors haven't tried already by reading a book I barely understand. Borges lets out a sigh and then takes the seat next to me. You know, in a way you might actually be more qualified to come up with something simply because you don't know what you're doing. You won't automatically assume something doesn't work, so you might not overlook some things that an experienced doctor would. Maybe. I still doubt it'd be helpful. Well, what I'm doing hasn't exactly been helpful either. You've kept him alive. That's not exactly useless, you know. Yes, you're right, of course. I delay in his response. The delay in his response tells me he has doubts. But why would he have doubts? That doesn't make a lot of sense unless... Maybe deep down he thinks that Lord Sandor would be better off dead. That's kind of grim, though, and last time Borges and I really talked, he pretty much declared himself an optimist. And that's not the kind of thought an optimist would have. Then again, what people tell you and what they think and feel aren't necessarily the same thing. That is very true. Borges turns away and gives me a smile. Sorry, I'm being gloomy again, aren't I? I don't mean to be. I was actually trying to have a normal conversation with you. He lets out a small laugh. Maybe next time, huh? Anyway, my point is, you shouldn't let inexperience stop you. If you come up with anything, I'd be more than happy to hear you out. Who knows, maybe to stumble upon something useful. Of course, that's only if you want to. Don't stress yourself out over it or anything. I sigh. I don't know what I want to do. Flipping through the pages of the book discouraged me a little more than I'd like to admit. I do want to help Borges out, but realistically, I don't think there is anything I can do. I should probably just quit. I can't do this. It was stupid to even take the book off the shelf. Sorry. For what? I'm not... I trail off. I can't even seem to finish the sentence. I want to quit, but saying I want to quit when Borges is still trying doesn't seem right. Even if I know all the work I put into this will amount to nothing, quitting is just as hard as continuing. Never mind. I run my hands up the back of my head and ruffle my hair, trying to force some kind of focus to magically realize. I won't quit just yet. Thanks. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but... Well, even if you don't get anywhere, knowing that you were working hard will encourage me to do my best as well. Normally I would have assumed that he was just humoring me, but there is a sincerity in his tone that makes me believe that I might really be helping him. If all I have to do is keep trying, I guess I can do that much. I turn towards Borges with a newfound resolve. Right, I had a few questions, and since you're here, I might as well ask them. Borges looks a bit surprised as I start listing off several questions I had in rapid succession. Eventually, Borges has to cut me off. Marcel, I admire your enthusiasm, but if it's alright with you, I'd prefer it if we did this one question at a time. I blush slightly in embarrassment. Of course it would be more convenient to go through these sorts of things one at a time. I can't believe I got so carried away. Sorry. Don't be. You're actually taking this more seriously than I thought you were. I'm impressed. The compliment makes me even more embarrassed. I try to brush it off. Well, if I'm going to waste my time doing something, I might as well be serious about it, right? Borges smiles warmly. You're right, of course. Anyway, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you might have. He says that, but my doubts start to sink in again. Are you sure? I'm not wasting your time, am I? Not at all. To be honest, I'm secretly hoping one of your questions will spark an idea. I wouldn't count on it. Don't worry, it's not all up to you. I'll continue trying other things too. Like what? Well, for starters, I can send out more letters. I've been writing to other doctors around Aravorn to see if they have any leads. I've gotten a few good ideas that way. I'm wondering if there is a way that you could find a way to save... If there was a way that you could save Lord Sandor instead of having him die. I'm guessing there probably is. Beyond that, I can at least work on finding better ways to treat his symptoms. I've been able to make some progress there anyway. So I guess I'm saying it's not as hopeless as I've been making it sound. I know better than to get my hopes up. I don't want to say anything negative, though, so I keep my mouth shut. The silence between us lingers a bit longer before Borges speaks up. So about those questions. Ah, right. I kind of want to get something to take notes with, but I also don't want to waste Borges' time. No, I'll start asking questions. That decided to I just jump straight into the questions. This time making sure to ask them one at a time. Borges takes his time explaining the answers and makes me summarize the information when I repeat it back to him. It's a little annoying, but at the same time it does make the information stick better. By the end of it, I feel a bit more confident. I think I'm ready to try reading the book again. Any more questions? No, I think I'm good for now. Thanks for your help, Borges. You're more than welcome. Remember that you can always ask me if you have any more of them. Okay? You're not inconveniencing me. You're sure? Very sure. If I can't spare the time, I'll be sure to mention it, alright? Alright. Borges gives me a small smile. You know, I have a book that might be helpful to you. It's easier to understand than most of them, and it's a good place to start. I'll bring it for you next time if you'd like. Yeah, why not? Good, it's settled then. I'll bring it along on my next visit. He hesitates, his cheerful expression turning into a frown. Of course, it's been a while since I used it. It might be hard to find. If you can't find it, that's fine. Don't stress yourself over it. Don't just stress yourself out over it. There are other things I can read in the meantime. Right. Hopefully I'm worrying over nothing. It might actually be really easy to find for all I know. Borges stands up and brushes his clothes off. Well, I better get going. Sorry I can't stay longer. It's fine. I know you have higher priorities than me. Don't say it like that. What's wrong with the way I said it? The way you said it makes it sound like you don't think you're important, and that's not true. I didn't mean it that way at all. I just meant that since he's a doctor, there are actually lives on the line. That definitely takes priority over answering my stupid questions. Still, it's kind of nice hearing Borges say I'm important, even if he's just saying it to be nice. Then, how about I just say, see you soon, and leave it at that? Sounds good. I'll see you soon, Marcel. Borges takes his leave, and I turn my attention back to the book. I pick it up and give reading it another try. Okay. And writing letters. Bad achievement unlocked, bad reputation. My performance hasn't been great lately. What? Oh, jeez. I'm not doing so well. In fact, it's been downright awful. Vincent hasn't said anything about it yet, but I can't keep doing this. Staying will just cause more trouble for everyone, and I don't want that. Besides, if I continue at this rate, Vincent will be forced to fire me eventually anyway. It's better to disappear before that. I let out a sigh and gather my things. Well, that's that. It's time to go. I'll probably head home. I might not belong here, but I always have a place there. I'll always have a place there. I leave my room behind for good and head out the front door. Nobody stops me. Then again, they probably think I'm just going into town for a bit. Kamal might have been able to tell something about me was off, but thankfully I don't run into him. Not enough reputation. Your reputation wasn't high enough to keep doing this job. The best way to keep that reputation value high is to pass the various skill checks in the main storyline. The problem is, the game doesn't really give you any hints at all as to what skill points to really focusing on when. Like, this is one of those games where you kind of have to play it through at least once before you know, like, it's trial and error, which is a little annoying that they don't give you any clues or give you a way to figure it out ahead of time. You just kind of have to randomly guess what skills to focus on so that your reputation goes up. So, for more info, click the help button in the scheduler screen. I take one look at the mansion. Okay, so we're gonna try a new game, and I'm going to try to do a lot better at, yeah, begins, keep skipping. Select whether skipping continues after making a choice. Okay, begin skipping. So I'm going to go ahead and do better. So we know that tidiness is really important. So we're going to be cleaning these rooms like anything. Just start cleaning like, I don't know if there's any, like, the problem is if you focus on one thing. No, I feel like the results. Okay, it seems like the results. Try drawing out some ideas. I keep skipping. Begin skipping. Kamal relation up. I'm gonna try to keep all of the dialogue that I've been using on people. I'm gonna try to keep maintaining it so that it's, so that it's still consistent with what I've been doing. All right. My relationship with Vincent keeps going because this is the whole food thing. So we're gonna keep skipping through it. Hopefully this will give me a little bit of a boost. All right, now that our cleanliness is going up, let's go ahead and work with our strength, because the strength was the next important thing. Now that our start hauling that luggage. 3, 5, 7, 9. All right, good. Now we're gonna make our strength roll, which is gonna be good. We haven't had any like reputation hits though. Okay, now we're going to do awareness and etiquette. Awareness and etiquette. Awareness and etiquette. Awareness, because we haven't even hit the first quest, so I can try to mix things up a little bit so I'm not monotonously doing everything over and over again. So hopefully our reputation will be a lot better this time, and I can keep playing the game from there and hope that it works out for us. Okay, this is where I meet Borges, and I go talk to him, and blah 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 blah. Writing letters, blah 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 blah, and attending to guests. Start again. Okay. The delicate red flower. Okay. This is going to put us in a good start. Okay. So now that we've done that, we are going to do... Alright. I'm gonna start doing things... We're gonna save. We're gonna do a save right here. And now I am going to start doing gardening. Putting gardening in there. So, gardening... haul luggage... Write letters, attend guests, clean rooms. And then more gardening, and more etiquette, because we're only 11 in etiquette. So, yeah, because I want to try to increase our relationships. So, let's go ahead and try to do that. Gardening, haul luggage, write letters, attend guests, clean rooms, gardening, write letters. Go ahead. Diligence +2. Alright, reputation is going up, that's good. Etiquette's going up. So we're trying to get a good balance here. Tidiness, getting our gardening up. Relationship with Kamala is going up. Well, that's good. And then we're writing more letters. Okay. I swipe the sort of route, immediately ambushed by Vincent. He looks a bit annoyed. It's hard to say for certain since he's generally good at hiding his emotions. I just hope he hasn't got annoyed with. Ah, Marcel, there you are. Did you need something? We have a guest, Lord Sandor. Begin skipping. So, all things... I would highly recommend taking a bath beforehand. Skill check, tidiness. Required value, 10. Actual value, 14. Success. All things considered, you are fairly clean. However, you can still tell that you were working in the garden if you look closely. I'm sure I wasn't expecting to work in the dining room today. I'll get cleaned up right away. Good, now my reputation is actually going up. Nice. You must understand, I'm not criticizing you. I'm actually quite impressed. Really? You look kind of annoyed, though. Ah, you can't tell. I need to work on hiding it better then. Vincent lets out a sigh. That's... Well, it's not because of you, I promise. You're doing fine. I have no complaints. That's kind of a relief. I mean, I feel sorry for whoever Vincent is annoyed with, but better than me, I guess. Anyways, just go do that and then meet me in the kitchen. I'll run you through everything and give you some pointers. And Marcel? Yes? Don't worry too much. You won't be the only one there if you do mess up there, and others will be covering for you. Alright, let's begin skipping. Blah, 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 blah. We're gonna hang out. Strength, required value 10. Success. Alright, so far so good. Our reputation is up to 11. So there we go. That makes a huge difference, doesn't it? Huge difference. Alright, gardening. No, we're still gardening. Haul luggage, write letters, attend guests, clean rooms. You know what? We're going to do gardening on Monday, gardening on Thursday, gardening on Sunday, and then we're going to do haul luggage, write letters, clean rooms, and attend guests. Yeah. And we'll keep going with this schedule. You know, I wanna up my diligence so that things with Kamal are good. So my decorum's going up, my leadership's going up. Yeah, and I'm having all of this nonsense with, I'm not going to apologize. And of course, he likes that. Relationship with Kamal's going up. Tidiness. Now that we're sort of spreading it out. Awareness and reputation's going up. Good, good, good. And this is your fault. Okay. Cool. Alright. let's continue on. Diligence is going up by 2.